Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Valeria and this is the Off-Road Ranch. I have a feeling that I'm starting a new construction project. I have had this feeling for over 6 months now, yet all this time I was in big doubt that I will be able to finish this construction, especially in winter and autumn, all at once. Yes, in winter, and it will be incredibly difficult. Today I'd like to tell you about what I will build, why and what it will look like. And yet I have no confidence that it will work out. I started my journey to the off-road range in December 2022, 2 years ago. Right now I have 10,000 square meters of unfenced land, overgrown with wild orchard, and I work a lot with a chainsaw on it. I have a Jeep, my indispensable friend and helper in construction and life. However, it is dangerous and almost impossible to drive it. Its spars and almost the whole underbody are rotten, and the driver's door is almost fallen off. It is in catastrophic need of urgent repair. At the end of the year, I will dedicate one of the videos to its condition, and you will see everything clearly. I thought that in these 2 years I will be able to modernize it, but you can see my financial conditions. I just organized summer shower with hot water just several months ago. I have a trailer. It helps me a lot in delivering materials and has paid for itself many times over. I have 2 shipping containers. I've talked about one before and I'll talk about the second one in this video series. They're essential for storing materials, tools, and for work. I have 7 hives. However, 4 of them are in need of comprehensive repairs, and only 1 hive was accidentally inhabited by wild bees. Through this, I have gained experience in beekeeping, and these are just the first steps. Unfortunately, the bees probably will not survive this winter, and I don't have the financial ability to buy them about 30 kilograms of honey to feed them. In addition to these acquisitions, I built a box of a small house of 30 square meters just to have a place to live in. When I bought the land, almost half of it was overgrown with wild orchard, which for the most part didn't produce fruit. By November 2024, I have cut down around 2,500 square meters and built a box of a small house. So I just simply tried to build a place to survive. It still has no water, furniture, flooring and household appliances, but at least it has electricity, which means heat in winter and lights in the evening. Later, I plan to put laminate flooring and buy some basic household appliances. However, flooring, furniture, appliances are very small problems compared to the questions: where do I take shower and where do I go to the toilet? These are questions that would never occur to a city dweller at all. Those who have centralized heating, water supply and sewage never think about where hot and cold water comes from and where it disappears to. When people turn on the tap in the morning, the water comes from some source through pumps and filters. And they don't have to think about that. They don't have to think neither about where all this equipment is located, nor about the fact that it all has to be maintained. People also don't have to think about the fact that when they flush the toilet or wash dishes, the water goes somewhere, flows through some pipes, accumulates somewhere, or on the contrary, is released into the environment. Most often, of course, it is thrown into the environment and polluted, because it is the easiest way, and people don't like to take efforts despite catastrophic consequences. Either they have plenty of money not to face these problems, or they think that someone else will solve them for them. owners of their own plots have to solve the problems of water supply and sewerage on their own. Of course, in many villages people dig a big hole and put a wooden toilet on top. Take water from the well with a bucket and take a shower outside, or in winter once a week in a basin behind a curtain at home. This way of living is not necessarily worse than urban living, but it is not always convenient, comfortable and fast. Many people have a desire to optimize their time, including household routine. In addition, in many parts of the world, climatic conditions do not allow to take shower and toilet all year round outside. For example, I may very soon have temperatures below freezing. This means that water in the hoses from the well to the shower will freeze and rupture hoses. Also, water will rupture plastic barrels with water and a water tank in the shower, because water expands when freezes. And in general, even with the heater on, in winter water will cool down faster than it will heat up, which means that I will not have hot water anyway. And how can I get this water if I won't be able to use hoses? Carrying 10-liter buckets from the well to the shower 70 meters is not what I want to do. Therefore, my task becomes the construction of a septic tank and water supply to my house. And it is huge, and the issue of the environment is the subject of my upcoming videos, where I will show you how I built my local treatment plant. Yes, not just a sewer where all the waste, human, food, organic, household waste just accumulates and stinks, but a biological treatment plant. This means that after processing food waste, feces and so on, I will have clean water. Yes, clean water that I can even drink. But how does it work? From one side, it is not the most pleasant thing I can talk about. From the other side, I want you to know that it is not necessary to pour tons of waste into the environment, the way that humans produce on a daily basis. Those sewerage systems that are mass-produced have the task of providing an ordinary person with minimum comfort and maximum work for low wages. But they are not thought out from the point of view of environmental pollution at all. And even if a person lives in his own house, in 99% of cases, once in a while a big car comes to his house and pumps the waste out of the septic tank, and then leaves and discharges everything into nature, somewhere centralized. Modern man doesn't even realize the degree of environmental pollution from the fact that he just exists. He just buys groceries, just goes to the toilet, just cooks food, just buy ordinary things for life. For example, when I lived in Turkey, I was just shocked by the amount of people eating from disposable plastic containers 3-5 times a day, every day. I have never seen that much plastic in my life, but I'm sure it's only the smaller thing, and the scale is much bigger. So I want you to realize that you are not just a small cog that cannot change anything, but part of a system that you can influence. For example, to bring your principles, values, products, ideas to this world. And creating a local treatment plant that fully recycles organic waste to clean water is, in my opinion, an important thing that other people may want to repeat. And I will be grateful if you share this playlist with other people, as it will make the world a better and cleaner place. Let's proceed briefly to the description of the project and the steps that await. This project was not developed by me. It was developed by European engineers, and later it was modified and supplemented by other people from different countries. Among other things, I also made some adjustments by changing the volume to suit my needs, by changing the method of construction according to the site characteristics, and by consulting with various engineers on its functionality in my conditions. The local treatment plant consists of several tanks, where the waste goes through several stages of decomposition. The first tank receives organic waste through a pipe, where it is mixed for several days and absorbed by aerobic and anaerobic bacteria that live on the bioload, on a special grid inside the tank. Many people don't know, but our feces is made up of 75% of water and 25% of unprocessed rotten food. And it takes bacteria to process the remaining food. Some bacteria need oxygen to live and work. These are aerobic bacteria. And some bacteria don't need oxygen. These are anaerobic bacteria. Once human waste and food waste are placed in the local treatment plant, the bacteria actively start to eat them. In order to provide the aerobic bacteria with oxygen, the biological station is piped with a constant supply of air. The air not only allows the aerobic bacteria to multiply, but also mixes the waste so that it doesn't settle on the bottom and is fully processed by the bacteria. With a certain balance, this bacteria fully decomposes organic waste. As the waste is processed, clean water appears in the tank. It flows into a second tank. The second tank is smaller in size, and there are also bacteria that live on the bioload, and also pipes air is supplied through. In the second tank, all the particles that are left in the water decompose for better water quality. Finally, after this purification, the water is transferred to the filtration well, where I can reuse it for anything. For watering plants, for washing the car, for construction, for example, for mixing concrete, for household activities, and even for drinking and cooking. But in this case, it is better to filter and sanitize it additionally. The degree of waste purification will be 97–98%, and such a figure is very hard to find in a store or from a septic tank supplier. But if you are promised clean water, ask if a supplier or manufacturer will drink this water after a month of septic tank operation. If yes, let him drink, and you will see by living example that this product is high quality. I am willing to drink my water after I finish construction of my local treatment plant. Other than that, there is a difference between decomposing all waste to 98% and between decomposing only a part of waste to 98%. In the first case, 100% of waste decomposes to clean water, and you never will have to scoop out rotten waste and feces out of the local treatment plant. In the second case, for example, 30% of waste remains undecomposed, and only 70% of waste is decomposed into clean water. This means that 70% of the total incoming volume is 98% clean. The remaining 30% will have to be scooped out periodically. So please do not confuse things. And anyway, even in the first case, regular maintenance is required. So what construction phases are ahead of me other than calculations and modeling that I have been doing for over 6 months now? Creating storage space and creating a workplace. I must have enough storage space for materials like rebar, binding wire, cement, and others. And also enough space to work, such as a work table, workbench, marking space, and so on. Provision of electricity and light. This is an important point because currently I have electricity only in the house, and container is far away and it doesn't have any lights, and also I don't have possibility to work with tools that require electricity. Geological survey, in order to understand the composition of the soil at the plant depths and the water table. Since the local treatment plant is underground, I need to understand the impact the ground and water will have on it. Carrying out the project in the field. That is temporary marking of the construction project on the site, since the computer doesn't reflect the reality. Of course, it is ordering all the materials and tools for working with them. For example, the purchase of rebar according to calculations, its cutting with special tools and determining the way of its binding. It is also the purchase of OSB plates and wooden timber to create formwork. Formwork is an auxiliary structure that is needed to ensure that the concrete in the object takes a certain shape and size and doesn't spread on the ground. Digging and excavation for the local treatment plant, backfilling with crushed stone and sand for water drainage, and then installing formwork and reinforcement inside the excavation pit. Concrete pouring. Since my facility is complex shape, concreting has to be done in several stages. This process can take several months. Backfilling and tamping with crushed stones in the excavation pit around concrete. This is necessary for the drainage of water from the local treatment plant. Laying and connecting all the necessary pipes, all the cables, and all the equipment that is needed for the stationary operation of the treatment plant. Electricity is needed for a special compressor to supply air to the bacteria. Insulation of the biological station with special thermal insulation. And then a lot of other steps, and also division of every step into hundreds of points. I've been working physically to realize this project for 2 months now. So why haven't I talked about it or shown you anything? Unlike most bloggers who start projects with a budget in place, I don't know whether I will be able to build a local treatment plant. For this reason, I didn't have a fully understanding of what I could tell you. Now, when I realize that I might be able to build a local treatment plant, I can already tell you the plan and then show all the work. However, there are still lots of complexities. This is not a ready for implementation project that has its own budget and is 99% likely to succeed. I don't know whether I have enough money to complete the construction, because construction costs never decrease but only increase, especially in winter when the weather becomes cold, work hours decrease, and the need of electricity, heating, lighting, dry storage of tools, and so on increase. I don't know if I can find construction machinery that will come and will work on the site in rain and mud, in snow and cold. Typically in the winter, construction equipment is sent to repairs and maintenance, because working in the winter may be very expensive if it breaks or gets stuck in difficult ground. Also, I don't know what the actual soil will be like, whether I will encounter rocky ground or formation, whether it will be too dense, whether heavy equipment will be able to dig it out, or vice versa, whether it will crumble or excavation pit will be full of water, and so on. Besides that, it is practically winter already, and one should understand that a person who works on the land is 100% dependent on nature and weather. Such people have to plan their life and work for several years. And this means that everything has to be done at a certain time so that it is done as convenient, fast and budgetary as possible. For example, at low temperatures you cannot work outside for longer than 1 hour without a break. In winter, it gets dark early, and it means that working hours become much shorter. For quality work, you need good lighting, and it is an impressive amount of money for spotlights, for cables, for light stands, and so on. If ground and water freezes, the excavation pit needs to be heated, and concrete requires special frozen-resistant additives, and a whole bunch of other issues and problems. And I'm not even talking about warm clothes, dry shoes, and the possibility to get sick. Despite all these difficulties, I want to carry out the project. First of all, to create human conditions for my life. To date, a number of work have been already done. For example, it is the purchase of a container. What I need it for, I will tell you in the following videos. Also, it is the purchase of rebar and tools to work with it, and the work has already begun. Also, it is already prepared place for storing bulk materials and for a local treatment plant. However, the point of no return is digging an excavation pit. In this case, it is imperative to complete the construction quickly. Otherwise, there may be a situation that the water table rises and the ground may begin to slip, and my whole house will be destroyed. I will be very grateful for your support. I am not going to cut this project. I want to finish the construction. But all the works done are just a small part of it. And your support is very important. Both moral support and donation through various services in the video description. And also I have a dream. 10,000 subscribers on Christmas. And I will be grateful if you share my channel with your friends, and thus you will help me to realize my dream. Further in my videos, you will see live all my steps, including financial costs, and you will realize that it is not entertainment, but survival. For those who are interested in construction and logic of a local treatment plant, I will show all the steps. And for those who just want to watch interesting content with overcoming difficulties in natural conditions, you are welcome to my channel because I have plenty of such videos. And most importantly, I don't know whether I will succeed. So be sure to subscribe to my channel, put likes and leave your comments. It was Valeria, the Off-Road Ranch. I wish you all the best and see you soon.